Welcome to The Explainer. Look, if you've been keeping tabs on the massive shifts in tech lately, you already know that artificial intelligence is just radically transforming what software can actually do. But here is the multi-million-dollar question we really need to answer. How do you actually make money off of it? Because building AI is one thing, right? But packaging and pricing it so that it actually drives profitable growth, that is an entirely different and frankly much harder challenge. So in today's Explainer, we are going to crack the code on pricing AI profitably. We're going to figure out exactly how the top companies out there are turning their generative AI and agentic tools from these massive cost centers into just incredible revenue drivers.
Okay, let's just quickly run through our roadmap for today. We're going to kick things off with 1, welcome to the agentic era. Then we'll dive into 2, the great payment disconnect, and 3, the cost of AI growth. After that, we'll break down 4, 3 monetization strategies, figure out 5, choosing your pricing model, and finally, we'll wrap up with 6, the future of pricing.
Section 1. Welcome to the agentic era, from tools to labor. Let's start our journey by completely redefining what software actually does for a business today.
To really get this, think back to the 2000s. That was the on-premise era. Software was essentially this clunky infrastructure you locked away in a dusty server room. You paid these massive upfront costs, installed it, and it was basically just a back-office enabler. Fast forward to the 2010s, and we get the SaaS revolution. Software became a utility. You just subscribed to it, scaled it up by adding seats, and it became the absolute core of business operations. But now, welcome to the 2020s. We are officially stepping into the agentic AI era. Software isn't just a static tool you use anymore, it is autonomous labor. These AI agents don't just sit there waiting for a prompt. They're actually executing workflows, making active recommendations, and literally swallowing entire categories of repetitive, operational work to deliver direct business outcomes. So, the absolutely crucial point here is that we are no longer just selling software features. We are capturing a massive portion of the broader business services market. This quote from Alex Nepvo over at Simon Kucher just hits the nail on the head. Moving to a services as a software model expands the total addressable market in a way that's almost hard to comprehend, because you are no longer just tapping into IT budgets, you are literally tapping into payroll budgets.
Section 2. The great payment disconnect, building without earning. So now we hit the central problem of our current moment.
The industry is rushing to build AI at this unprecedented breakneck speed, but they are struggling mightily to capture its actual financial value. There is a staggering contrast happening right now. A massive 76% of software companies have launched new AI features in just the last 2 years, and 96% are planning to do so in the next 2. But honestly, most of these launches come with surprisingly low or even declining revenue targets. Why? Well, it's because they're still treating AI like a traditional software add-on. They're totally failing to realize they can now access that massive, expanded pool of labor budgets we were just talking about.
And this brings us face to face with what we call the payment disconnect. Historically, modern compensation has always been tied to time, like an hourly wage, or performance, like a sales commission. We evaluate our human employees based on the specific problems they solve and the outcomes they actually generate. But with machines, we're somehow still trying to price these autonomous AI workers based on old-school SaaS metrics, like per-seat licenses. It is massive cognitive dissonance. I mean, seriously, nobody hires a human by saying, "Hey, can you list every feature of your brain?" No, they ask, "What role can you play for us?" We desperately need to start pricing AI with that exact same logic.
Section 3. The cost of AI growth. The GitHub Copilot warning. Let's look at how this all builds into a very urgent financial risk, using a pretty famous real-world case study.
To really grasp the risk here, we have to look at the underlying economics, because they've fundamentally changed. Traditional SaaS is a beautiful thing. The code is written once, and every single new user you add is virtually pure profit against a fixed cost. But AI is completely different. AI has incredibly heavy variable compute costs. Every single query burns compute. Every power user you have is eating into your inference cycles, practically melting servers in the background. So what does that mean? It means high adoption, if paired with the wrong pricing model, doesn't just lower your margins, it actively accelerates your financial losses.
Which brings us perfectly to GitHub Copilot. This was a runaway product success that, early on, masked a massive unit economics problem. When they launched back in June 2022, they priced it at a flat $10 a month with unlimited usage. It was super simple and adoption just exploded. But here is the catch, and it's a huge one. Their heavy power users were consuming upwards of $80 in compute costs for that one $10 subscription. GitHub was losing more than $20 per user on average. So they had to pivot, and fast. They moved to a highly sophisticated tiered and usage-based model. Today they have actual guardrails. 3 and Pro tiers have strict limits on premium requests, while Pro Plus caters to those compute-intensive power users at $39. They even instituted clear overage charges of 4 cents per request. They successfully aligned the price tag with the intensity of the usage.
You see a very similar story with Clay, the AI data enrichment tool. They started out with flat per-user pricing in late 2022 just to drive early adoption. But as usage matured, they adapted. By early 2023, they introduced tiers. By mid-year, they moved to hybrid models. And eventually, they shifted to a pure usage model in early 2024. By constantly iterating, basically changing their pricing once or twice a year, they surged from $2 million all the way to $37 million in revenue. This proves an absolutely vital rule for this era. Your AI pricing simply cannot remain static, while your product and the way users interact with it is rapidly evolving.
Section 4. 3 monetization strategies. Finding the right path. So, how do we actually fix this for your product? Let's break it down into 3 primary strategies.
Depending on what your variable costs look like and your market relevance, you essentially have 3 paths to choose from. Path 1 is direct monetization with a price increase. This is where you just bundle the AI into your existing plans, but you hike the overall fee. Path 2 is direct monetization with a separate offering. This means carving out the AI as a completely standalone add-on. This is a fantastic option when your AI has high variable costs and the usage intensity varies wildly from user to user. And finally, path 3 is indirect monetization. With this one, you don't raise the price at all. Instead, you embed the AI to make your core product just incredibly sticky, which drives adoption, lowers your churn, and naturally pushes users towards your premium tiers anyway.
Section 5. Choosing your pricing model. The 2x2 framework. Let's apply a concrete framework to help you pick the exact right path for your specific situation.
Mapping your AI strategy really comes down to 2 key variables. On the vertical axis, you've got expected customer adoption, ranging from niche all the way to widespread. And on the horizontal axis, the business value you're delivering to the customer, from low table stakes up to high value. Now, if your AI functionality is widely needed and delivers massive business value, that top right quadrant, you can absolutely roll it in with a general price increase. But if the value is incredibly high, yet the adoption is probably going to be pretty niche, creating a premium tier or offering it as a separate add-on is a much safer bet. And hey, if it's just table stakes, widespread adoption but lower distinct value, you might just have to roll it in with 0 price change just to stay competitive in the market.
A really perfect example of mastering that top right quadrant is ServiceNow. Instead of just giving their generative AI away for free, they wove it directly into their differentiated packages, Pro Plus and Enterprise Plus, at roughly a 30% price premium. And guess what? It worked flawlessly. Why? Because they were able to deliver a massive 40 to 50% bump in customer productivity. As they pointed out, there's practically 0 price sensitivity when you can clearly prove you're improving productivity by 50%. The ROI literally sells itself, and it led to their fastest growing product launch in company history.
Section 6. The future of pricing. Reevaluating AI's worth. As we get ready to wrap up this explainer, we need to talk about completely shifting our perspective on how we calculate the fundamental worth of software. In the traditional SaaS world, the holy grail was always willingness to pay. Customers had familiar reference points, right? They generally knew what a CRM should cost them. But with autonomous AI agents, those old reference points are completely shattered. Customers honestly have no idea what they should pay for a machine that thinks and acts on its own. So, in this new agentic era, we have to shift our thinking heavily toward the right side of the pricing spectrum. We absolutely must start pricing based on real economic value added and the cost of alternative solutions.
Think about it like this. What is the actual, tangible savings in headcount? An AI agent that saves an enterprise 50 full-time employees. That is transformational, and the price tag should absolutely reflect that massive economic value add. Furthermore, what's the cost of the alternative? If your AI acts like a call center agent, you shouldn't be pricing it like a little software plugin. You should look at traditional business process outsourcing, or BPO. If a human BPO service charges $1 a minute to handle a customer call, and keep in mind humans need things like sleep and coffee breaks, an AI agent that performs that exact same task flawlessly inherits that BPO price model as a totally natural benchmark.
You price against the labor it replaces.
And I want to leave you with this final thought to take away today. The transition from software as a utility to software as autonomous labor, it isn't coming, it is happening right now. The companies that are actually going to win this era aren't just the ones writing the best code. They are the ones successfully aligning their pricing with the true value of the work being done. So you have to ask yourself, as AI swallows up more and more operational work, are you making sure your pricing model actually reflects the labor it performs, or are you still just charging for the code it runs? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep thinking about how you value your digital workforce.